Uh,
Yeah. Awesome. Should I start letting people in?
sure, let's do it.
Great. Okay.
Hello, hello. Good evening. Welcome. We are so excited to have you here at our Getting Started with Elementary AI Explorations webinar. Over the next hour, we're going to be digging into AI explorations from a student and from a teacher perspective with the goal of you leaving with a better understanding of what it will take to facilitate them effectively in your classroom settings. So first, we'll get started with some intros. My name is Drew St. Lawrence, and as Senior Curriculum Lead here at aiEDU, I focus on building K-12 learning experiences to help students build AI literacy. Before joining aiEDU, I served as an elementary teacher in New York City schools for nearly a decade. And more recently, I've been in the ed tech space, building learning experiences and facilitating workshops a lot like this one. So now I'll make space for Kushali to introduce herself.
Hey, everybody. It's good to see you all. My name is Kushali Narachani. I'm the Director of Learning at aiEDU. I'm a former classroom teacher, high school math, and then spent a lot of time in teacher prep, leading some of our programming at Relay Graduate School of Education. And I get to support Drew and Ren on all of our curriculum and professional learning initiatives at aiEDU. And we're really excited to have you here and have elementary focused products now. So I will be here managing chat and kind of responding to any questions that come up as Drew's leading the session. So keep them coming in the chat if there's anything that comes up at all.
All right, enough about us. Would love to know who's joining us tonight, who's in the room. Please take a moment to drop in the chat your name. Actually, I'm going to add location as well, if you feel comfortable sharing that, your role, and then any hopes that you have for this session today. Welcome, Megan and Samantha. Welcome. Kara, Carolyn, welcome. Angela, Tanis, I hope I'm saying your name right. Glad to see you all here. Welcome. Hi, Nancy from Canada. Welcome. All right, well, keep them coming, y'all. Again, super excited to have you here. And we'll just, in the interest of time, because we have relatively little of it together, we're going to keep it moving. But welcome, keep dropping your names and your hopes in this chat, and we will attend to them as best we can. Okay. A little bit about our objectives, our desired outcomes from this session. We want you to experience an exploration from a student perspective. We want you to identify some core components of our AI explorations, and then we'll explore together a process for teaching them. On that note, here is how we're going to get there. We'll start off by having you experience an exploration as a student might. I'll facilitate and you'll be the students. A word about that. We understand that doing a model lesson in this way can feel a little awkward, but we actually think it's the most important thing we could do in this time. We believe that putting you inside an exploration as a student is one of the best ways to understand these activities. And we believe that deep understanding will serve you well when it's time for you to teach them and make instructional decisions in the moment. After the model, we'll zoom in on the components that make up an exploration, where to find them, how to use them. And then before we close, we'll again talk about a process for preparing to facilitate these activities in your specific setting. A little bit word about norms. We ask first that you be present, be engaged. Please share your thoughts and questions in the chat. be a learner first. We hope that you really commit to being a student during the model and more generally just to lead with inquiry and curiosity. Um, and we ask that you really think deeply about what we discussed today and how it can come alive in your setting, in your reality. We realize, excuse me, there will be moments to share some of that, and we encourage you to speak again from your experience. And the rest of us will make sure to receive you as learners first. And then we ask that you take risks, embrace mistakes. This is really about lowering the stakes in this space, making it safe enough for everyone to really push ourselves intellectually, because it's in that space where things are a little uncomfortable, where learning happens. So, any questions about our norms? Okay. All right. All right. Let's get into it. Welcome, welcome. New arrivals, welcome. So as we go into this experience, I'm going to ask that you hold a few questions really close. We will return to them after the model exploration. First, what student actions stand out to you, and what would be their impact? Secondly, what teacher actions stand out to you, and again, what is their impact? And then, what do you notice about how the activity is structured? Student actions, teacher actions, structure. I'm going to facilitate this exploration within Nearpod. So in a moment, we're going to drop a link to the Nearpod platform, and then I'll ask that you, if you are able to have Nearpod and Zoom open simultaneously, that would be fantastic. Okay, thank you. I'm just gonna do a little bit of switching. Okay. Okay. So I do see some folks starting to enter. Okay, welcome, welcome. I want to see that number increase just a little bit. Any issues, just let us know. The 10 folks are in there. I'm going to give more folks a little bit more time to jump in. Okay. I think we're waiting on a couple more folks. I think one more person we want to wait on. All right, I think we've got mostly everyone. Okay. Okay, so I'm just gonna 3, 2, 1 action, and we'll get into it together. All right, action. Okay, class, welcome to pattern predictors. What do you notice? What do you wonder? What do you notice? What do you wonder? I want to encourage you to drop your thoughts into the chat, please. What do you notice? What do you wonder? Great observation, Carolyn. We see a calendar, but we don't know what month. Keep them coming, y'all. Keep them coming. What do you notice? What do you wonder? Okay, we've got time. Some days have more time than others. Angela noticed that on the 23rd, we have a blank. What's that about? I noticed some folks have started to, comment on one another's ideas in the chat. Go ahead and do that. You can add reactions, you can add replies. What do the minutes in the calendar mean? Absolutely. Okay. What do you notice now? Current noticings. What do we see here? Okay, we had a lot of folks noticing. We have these numbers, we have these minutes. What do they mean? Okay, Samantha made a great observation about the range. We see a range between 5 and 15. Thank you, Nancy, for that comment about more context. Okay. So what you see here is the collaboration board feature of Nearpod. I'm just going to ask that you drop a thought in response to this question. What could be causing longer wait times on some days? I think it was Nancy who noticed, or no, Samantha noticed a range from 5 minutes to 15 minutes. What could be causing longer wait times on some days? In the share your thoughts box down below, go ahead and drop some ideas. Weather, traffic. Okay, we've got a lot of traffic is a popular one. Field trips. Accidents. Okay, I see some folks already starting to use the like heart icon to kind of co-sign on ideas that they're seeing. Transition times, after school activities, lots of different factors that could be impacting the wait times on different days. Okay. Right now, what you see is the draw it feature. You can use one of the markers to kind of write in a thought. You could also use the text feature to type in a thought that you have. I'm going to encourage you now. Someone looks like Carolyn had the wondering of why is the date of the 23rd blank. I'm going to invite you to make a prediction. How long do you think that wait time was on the 23rd? Once you've got your thought in, go ahead and click submit. Okay, we've got some ideas coming in. Okay, just want to show you a few ideas that we are seeing. We're seeing 14 minutes. We've got some folks thinking 9 and 4, 5 minutes, 16 minutes. Just some examples of predictions that we're making. Okay, I see some predictions for 7 minutes. Okay, so our predictions are kind of all over the place. I'm going to invite you now, folks, to indicate how confident you are in your prediction. This is the poll feature in Nearpod. So it's going to invite you to indicate just how confident were you in your prediction? Were you not confident at all? Were you completely 100% confident that your prediction is right? What do we think? Cool. Looks like about a little over half of us have indicated their confidence, shown their confidence level. Give you a few more moments. Okay, waiting on a few more folks. Okay, in the interest of time, I'm gonna move on in about 10 seconds. So if you haven't yet completed the poll, we invite you to do so right now. All right. Okay. What do we see here in our polling? What do we notice in our polling about our confidence level? Not a lot of confidence. Our confidence is pretty low overall. Okay. Pretty low. Pretty low. Want to invite someone to share a little bit about why your confidence is so low. And actually, I think our numbers are such that if you feel comfortable unmuting yourself, love to hear some voices other than my own in this space. So, would love to hear some thoughts about why we don't feel so confident in our predictions. Yeah, people are unsure about what the pattern is. Okay. Any other final thoughts? I want to give you a little bit more time.
Yeah, I think what Nancy said, it's there wasn't really a very noticeable pattern right off, and or we didn't have a lot of time to see it. So we
Hmm.
only really had time to make kind of a wild guess.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Makes sense. Thanks, Carolyn. All right. Now, what do you notice and what do you wonder? What do we notice? What do we wonder? Feel free to drop a thought in the chat. And again, if you feel comfortable unmuting yourself, would love to hear some more voices. What do we notice and wonder now?
Well, we're getting that confirmation that weather is definitely a factor.
Okay, weather's definitely a factor. Someone to share some thoughts. Okay, we've got lots of thoughts on folks making connections between longer wait times and the weather, the raininess, a little bit more context. Okay, sun on some days, rain on the other. Okay, okay, all right. So I want to invite you. Might have to visit Canada and take some notes. You're right. Let's, I want to give you another opportunity to make another prediction for the 23rd. I want to invite you to make another prediction based on, as you notice, it's additional context, it's additional information. Welcome, Anna. All good. Good to have you here. Hey, take a few more moments to add some more predictions. Okay, see a few going in now. Okay, take about 10 more seconds to put in your predictions and we'll take a quick look. All right, let's check out a few of the predictions that we made. Okay, we're seeing someone predicted 15 minutes. Oops. We've got 15 minutes, 13, 10 minutes. What was that? Another 15, 16 minutes, 14. And I'm noticing that some of these predictions are different. Well, it seems like a good amount of them are different. I want to invite someone to speak a little bit. If you change your prediction, can you say why? In the chat, unmute yourself. If you change your prediction, why did that happen? Why did you do that? Excuse me. Okay, so we had folks, in the middle of the range, in the middle of the range of the rainy days, okay? So a lot of folks increased their predictions. Okay. How confident are you in your second predictions? Indicate that confidence level. Are you completely 100% confident? Are you not confident at all? Or are you somewhere in the middle? Okay, we have a good amount of folks who have responded. Give you a few more moments if you haven't yet. Okay, take a few more seconds. I think we have more responses this go around. I'm going to give you a little bit more time. All right. Let's make sense of our polling and our confidence levels. What are we thinking? What do we think? What do we notice in our confidence levels now compared to last time? Slightly more confident, and no one is strongly, what does it say, completely confident. Yeah, we're generally more confident, but not completely. Does anyone want to speak to why you're not completely confident? Okay. Thanks, Samantha. Still need more information. Rainy days are inconsistent. All right, let's keep this in our heads as we move on. But we did notice definitely that our confidence increased a little bit. Okay. True or false? Rainy weather caused longer bus delays. The longer wait times were caused by the weather. True or false? Okay, we have one. We have Nancy saying true. We have a maybe. We have a seems like it. Anna, can you explain? I think you're the only false. Would love to hear, a definitely true. Share your thoughts. At least one person who said or is thinking maybe, and then it looks like we have at least one definitely false. I want to invite some folks who thought true to share your thinking a little bit more. Or if anyone who thought maybe, or looks like Anna would love to hear from you what you mean when you talk about correlation and causation. I want to invite.
Sorry, there's some noise in my background here.
All good.
So I jumped in late. All I saw was the calendar for about 10 seconds, but my research background tells me that you can't determine causation just based on a pattern. It takes a lot more than that to determine what it is. And I remember this mantra from my undergraduate and my graduate degree, and from when I used to teach research methods, that correlation is not the same thing as causation, and it's a great way to mislead people with data.
Thank you for sharing
You
that.
want
Now,
to tell a story. without really telling a story.
Thank you for sharing that. And for folks who maybe were here for the whole thing, I want you to think back to when we were brainstorming about the different things that could have been affecting the wait times. Some of us said weather. What are some of the other things that we said could be affecting the bus wait times? Remind us for a moment. Traffic, bus breakdowns, mechanical difficulties. Maybe the bus drivers got sick on that day. Field trips, fuel shortages. Could have been any of these things, right? So again, can we really say that the rainy weather caused the delays? Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, but we did notice a connection, a pattern. We did notice that on days when it was rainy, there tended to be a longer wait time. And that helped us make a prediction that we felt a little bit better about. Now, AI works very similarly to how our brains work. We can train AI by giving it data, giving it information, and then it finds patterns in that data, and then it makes predictions for us. The difference, though, is that we can give AI models tons and tons and tons and tons of data, more data than we could ever make sense of by ourselves. And so I really want you to think about what it took for you to improve your own human predictions. And then I want us to think about how we can help AI improve their predictions. How can we improve our predictions? What do we need? And then how can we help AI improve its own predictions? Go ahead and drop your thought in the collaboration board. Let's see some of your thinking. More data. The more information I have, the better prediction I can make. Ooh, giving AI accurate data. So it's not just giving it information. We have to make sure the information is accurate. More data and more different kinds of data. Okay. Okay, yeah, take a look at what your classmates are putting in. Feel free to like, to add comments, agree, disagree. Okay. So AI every day is making predictions that affect our lives. And if we want to make sure that they can make better predictions to make our lives better, we need to make sure that we give it lots of good, accurate data, as someone said, and give it lots of practice. So one thing to remember, folks, more data leads to better predictions, usually. Usually. Okay, and scene. Okay, thank you for engaging in that. If you don't mind, just give me a second to get myself resituated. Welcome to any newcomers. Let me get this. Share. All right. Thank you all again for engaging in this. Let's take a step back and make some sense of what just happened. So I'm going to invite some folks to share some thoughts about the student actions that stood out to you. What were you doing? What did I as a facilitator ask of you during this activity? And what do you think was their impact? Feel free to drop a thought in the chat or to unmute yourself.
My name is Sean. One of the things I noticed is you asked us to, one, to interact with the data that we saw, and you not forced, you encourage us to reflect on it, but then also to interact with other peers' suggestions as well.
Thanks, Sean. And invite some folks to respond to Sean. Continue to add your own thoughts. I see some more. Check the chat. We have some comments from Nancy about students feeling uncomfortable and it being okay. I can definitely attest to how, as educators, we want to resist that as much as we can, but that's actually a good place to be. Thank you, Carolyn. We were thinking, engaging, sharing opinions. Okay, let's talk about teacher actions. What did you notice from me as a facilitator? Um, what did you notice me doing, and what was the impact of those actions? Okay. I'm glad you didn't feel talked at, but yeah, I was trying my best to facilitate this discussion. Absolutely, Nancy, I was not ever going to give you any answers. And that can be challenging in the moment. I know that. Yeah, stamping that key ID at the end. Other thoughts? Okay, structure. Did any noticing structurally about the activity, how it flowed, maybe different sections or components that you noticed? Okay, thank you, Samantha. I think this was referring to teacher actions about giving you space to change your answers. Yeah, great point, Nancy. I'm going to return to that in a moment about requiring students to have devices. I'm going to return to that in a moment. Please don't let me forget to return to this idea. Okay, any noticings on structure, how the activity was structured? Okay, so okay, a lot of wait time. Okay, so you may not have noticed on the actual slides, but I'll speak a little bit to the format. All of our explorations essentially have three sections. The first being the launch. You may have noticed launch in the top right corner. We intend those sections to really hook learners, engage their curiosity, just kind of get launched into the activity. The middle section, we call it play. We consider that the meat of the activity. That's where students are really doing the exploring and playing with data and interacting with one another, really building towards understanding the big key point. And then the land, we call that, that's essentially the synthesis, a time for stamping key learning, reflecting, and really just bringing ideas together. Okay. All right. So with that, in a moment, I really want to go through the anatomy of an exploration, talk through the different components, the different supports, what things look like, how they work, where you can find them. Okay, so I'm going to take us to the slide deck, which if you haven't accessed it now, we'll share a link to you in a moment. But in this slide deck, some general information. You will have some general info about what explorations are. You will see these next few slides offer screenshots explaining the different components of the explorations, what they're used for. Here you'll see towards the beginning some guidance for how to use explorations. And essentially, our belief is use them flexibly in any amount of time that you can find. We do recommend, though, that you facilitate AI or not first, because we think of that as an introduction to what AI is, defining that term together, and then that can springboard you into exploring the other four in any order that you choose. Okay. And then on these slides, we have some general differentiation tips and recommendations that are UDL aligned to help lower the barriers of learning and help kids engage in the activity, access information in multiple formats, and then giving kids ways to give kids multiple ways to demonstrate their understanding. I'm going to scroll down now to the actual exploration that we did, pattern predictors, just break down some of the components for you. Each exploration will have what we call a front matter slide. There you'll get information like learning objectives, aligned standards, any materials will be linked here, and then any preparation steps that we anticipate you might need. The teacher guide I'll come back to in a moment. As you go down into the actual activity, you'll notice in the activity slides, in the speaker notes, you'll see you have teacher guidance, things we recommend you say to students, things that we recommend students be doing at any particular moment, and then things for you as a teacher to look for in terms of student actions or responses. I want to scroll back up and then open up the teacher guide for you. And just one thing I'll say about this teacher guide is it includes all the information that you saw in the slide deck, everything that was on the front matter slide. And then as you scroll down, I'm going to actually plug this little these tabs on the left to help you navigate the different components and parts of the exploration. You'll notice we got screenshots, and then all this guidance here is the exact same guidance that you'll find in the speaker notes. And we got some feedback from our piloting process that some teachers would appreciate having a separate teacher guide. You can see all the guidance in one place. So we hope at least some of you will find that helpful. Okay. Now we're going to switch gears and talk about how we want to think about preparing to teach these explorations. 3 easy steps: do the activity, check the key points, and plan for student supports. First things first, we want to invite you to do the work as a student might. Get into the minds of your students, think about any questions they may have, think about how they might respond to your questions, where they may get stuck and confused. This is a good practice in preparing to teach anything, really, and it's very often skipped. But taking the time to do this will help prepare you to make, again, good instructional decisions in the heat of the moment. Checking key points. We want to make sure that you are super, super clear on what the very bite-sized idea that students should be walking away with at the end of every activity. To support you with this, each exploration concludes with a slide to help you stamp the key learning. The questions and the look-fors in the teacher guide are designed to help students get there. So you want to be clear on what that cognitive journey will look like and how you can help lead students to that place. And then third, plan for student supports. We want you to consider the specific needs of your students and then think about how you can meet those needs with the resources available to you while attending to your teaching style and preferences. In this case, when I knew I was gonna be facilitating exploration for you all, I knew this exploration was gonna be in a virtual remote environment. And so my main concern was, how can I make sure you as students are engaged when you're logging in from Wisconsin and Pennsylvania and Canada? I thought about the resources that I had. I had Zoom, I had Nearpod. Nearpod would allow me to display information in multiple ways, give you opportunities to respond, share your thinking, talk to one another. So I went with that. There was a comment, oh man, who was it from? Was it from, I'm forgetting who it was from.
Nancy, from Nancy.
It was from
Yeah.
Nancy, yes. I think you said something to the fact of that students needed to have their own devices. To that, I will say that we took great care in designing these to make it such that students don't necessarily need their own or don't need their own devices at all. Actually, I can say that, the thought process was that, we thought of these being facilitated in a live in-person setting first. And this was an opportunity to show you what it could look like in a virtual setting. And so definitely we can't, say enough that we intend these to be very low, to require minimal resource to be able to pull off and facilitate well. Okay. To support your preparation efforts, we've created a checklist that helps walk you through each of these 3 steps, and it includes guiding questions. So thank you, Kashali, for sharing that link. Go ahead and open it up, check it out. You should be able to have access to it. If not, please let us know. Cool, I'm seeing head nods. Okay, I think we're in there. Fantastic. Okay. So yeah, you have that checklist for today and beyond. And then another thing I want to share with you is a download link to access all of our resources, including our exploration. So it'll take you to an Airtable where you'll fill out a little form, kind of indicate that you'd like to download our explorations, and then you'll be able to use them in the next few minutes and beyond, hopefully, throughout your teaching careers. So once you have the checklist and the download link, I want to give you some time to get all the things, get the resources emailed to you, and then I want to invite you to take a few minutes. We'll go with about 5 to 7 minutes for now. I want you to dig in, explore, go where your curiosity takes you. And I want you to think about some next steps for yourself as you think about facilitating these explorations. In about 5 to 7 minutes, we'll have some folks share out. You're not going to have time to have a fully fleshed out plan here necessarily, but we want to give you some time to really start to think about what that could look like. If anyone has any issues accessing resources, just let us know. But we'll do about 5 to 7 minutes. Thank you, Anna. Glad to have you here. Take care. Take about 2 more minutes. I know it's not very much time, but take about 2 more minutes. All right, I want to invite some folks to share some thoughts about what they're going to do next, and even open it up to any general impressions that you have from taking a look at the resources. Um, yeah, drop a thought in the chat or feel free again to unmute yourself. Thank you for that thought, Carolyn. I mean, one thing we always keep top of mind is how very little time that teachers have, and more accurately, just how busy and packed in the time that you do have. Great, thanks, Nancy. Thank you. I always want to be clear and simple. Okay, any other thoughts? Any other thoughts, particularly about next steps that you want to take? Glad to hear that. Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Thanks, Carolyn. Yeah, the materials we include them because we think they could be of help. But as you say, for most of the activity, some of the activities, they're not really essential. Some of them they are, especially activities that involve like games that are card based. They may be yeah, more required than others. Okay, folks. Yeah, Nancy, we will take these into consideration. We really want to create materials that meet the needs of teachers and schools and districts. So yeah, we'll take that into consideration. Absolutely. I will say that, digging into ethics bias is 100% on our radar. So stay tuned. We have things coming out very soon to address that. Okay, folks. Oops. The very last thing I'll ask of you today is that you fill out our feedback survey. I can assume that you all came to this session looking to build your practice, and you know what? I want to do that too. So to that end, I'd really, really appreciate the gift of your feedback. Oh, cool. Thank you. Kushali dropped the link. Please, we so much appreciate you just taking the time to fill that out. And then, yeah, once you have completed that, you are free to go. Thank you so much for your presence, your engagement, and stay tuned for upcoming releases, upcoming communications, and yeah, if you have any thoughts or feedback, just drop us a line. Thank you, thank you, thank you all. Again, please take a moment for that survey. We so much appreciate it.